The moment changed everything, the way a lightning strike splits the sky without warning. 1 second the kitchen smelled like burnt toast and stale coffee, the next the air felt heavier, as if time itself had leaned in closer. I remember the way her eyes held a storm and a prayer at the same time, and how my chest tightened before my mind could catch up. Nothing dramatic had happened on the surface, yet I knew, with a certainty that scared me, that our lives had just stepped onto a different road entirely. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and the quiet miracles that grow out of ordinary lives, take a moment right now to like, comment, share, and subscribe to this channel. Your support helps stories like this reach hearts that need them. My name is Michael Turner, and this happened in a small town in Ohio where winters linger too long and everyone knows the rhythm of everyone else's life. I had married Rebecca Hayes 8 years earlier under a white steepled church, promising patience, faith, and a future we assumed would unfold naturally. We were good together in the practical ways people admire. We worked steady jobs, attended Sunday service, shared dinners, and laughed at old movies. We told ourselves we had time to travel, time to save, time to grow into ourselves before becoming parents. Time felt endless then, like a wide-open highway. But time has a way of revealing its sharp edges slowly. Rebecca had always loved children. She volunteered at church nurseries, remembered birthdays, and knelt to talk to kids at eye level as if their thoughts mattered. I noticed how she lingered near baby aisles at grocery stores, how her smile softened at the sound of laughter in the park. I noticed, too, how that smile faded when months turned into years and our house remained quiet. The struggle crept in quietly. Doctor appointments filled our calendar, and hope rose and fell with test results that never brought the answer we prayed for. We learned medical words we never wanted to know. We learned patience the hard way. I tried to be strong, the kind of husband who listened and reassured, but inside I carried my own fear. I worried that I was failing her, that my calm acceptance looked like indifference. Rebecca carried the heavier burden, the kind that settles deep in the bones. Each passing year felt like a door closing softly but firmly. The day everything shifted, Rebecca had just returned from another appointment. She moved through the house like someone carrying invisible weight, touching the counter, the window frame, the back of a chair, as if grounding herself. When she finally looked at me, there was no anger in her face, only urgency and vulnerability woven together. In that look, I saw love, fear, and a plea that went beyond words. It was not about pressure or demand. It was about time running out and hope refusing to die quietly. That moment forced me to confront truths I had been avoiding. I had always believed faith meant waiting calmly for God's plan, but standing there, I realized faith also meant action. It meant listening fully to the person God had placed beside me. Rebecca was not asking for perfection or certainty. She was asking me to stand with her in the unknown, to choose courage over comfort. The weeks that followed tested us in ways marriage vows rarely describe. We talked late into the night, not in arguments but in exhausted honesty. We faced fears about money, age, and the whispers of a town where everyone notices when expectations are not met. I wrestled with guilt for not feeling the urgency sooner. Rebecca wrestled with grief for the years already gone, yet in that struggle, something unexpected happened. We stopped tiptoeing around our pain and started carrying it together. We explored every path available to us in the United States, from medical treatments to adoption seminars held in community centers and church basements. We met social workers with kind eyes and heavy stories. We filled out forms that asked us to bare our souls on paper. We prayed in hospital waiting rooms and empty parking lots. Each step forward felt both hopeful and terrifying, like walking into fog trusting the road was still there. There were moments when doubt nearly won. I remember sitting alone in our living room one evening, the walls lined with wedding photos and holiday cards, wondering if love was enough when dreams changed shape. Rebecca joined me quietly, her presence steady. Without speaking, she rested her head on my shoulder, and in that simple gesture, I felt the truth settle in. Family was not something we were missing. Family was something we were building, even if the blueprint looked different than we imagined. The turning point came not with a miracle headline, but with a quiet phone call on an ordinary Tuesday. We had been matched with a birth mother from Minnesota who wanted her child raised in a home filled with faith and patience. The room seemed to hold its breath as the words sank in. Joy rushed in, followed quickly by fear, because hope after loss always feels dangerous. We prepared ourselves for every outcome, guarding our hearts while letting them open just enough to breathe. Months later, in a hospital room far from home, I watched Rebecca cradle a newborn whose tiny fingers wrapped instinctively around hers. In that moment, all the waiting, the doubt, and the silent prayers converged into something overwhelming and holy. I understood then that the urgency I had seen in her eyes months earlier was not desperation. It was love recognizing its purpose. Bringing our son home changed the way our house sounded and felt. Nights grew shorter, days louder, and our hearts fuller than we thought possible. Parenthood did not erase the pain of the past, but it redeemed it, giving meaning to every tear and every unanswered prayer. Rebecca moved through motherhood with a grace forged by struggle, and I found myself grateful for the man I had become through the process. We had not been given an easy story, but we had been given a true one. As you reach this part of the story, if it touched your heart, please take a moment to like, comment, and share this video. Your engagement helps keep these stories alive for others who may be walking a similar road. And before the ending, here is a special request. Please comment the word hope if you believe love can find a way, even when the path looks impossible. Today, when I think back to that moment in our kitchen, I no longer feel fear. I feel gratitude. Gratitude for a wife brave enough to voice her longing, for a journey that taught us empathy, and for a child who arrived through faith rather than chance. Life did not give us the story we expected, but it gave us the story we needed, and sometimes that is the greatest gift of all.